You know how it is. Sometimes when the weather's like this, grey and wet and miserable, you still want to be doing something valuable in the garden, and what you need is a really great rainy day job. Well, I've got exactly that for you, because today I'm going to be showing you exactly how I store and organise all of my seeds, and showing you exactly how you can do the same so that you can have an affordable, really adaptable and, well, joyful way of storing and organising your seeds. Now, let's get out of this rain. Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back. In Ireland, even at this time of year, which is August, it can be really grey and wet and damp. And that means that a lot of jobs just aren't practical to do in this weather, or more importantly, you don't always feel like being out in that weather and doing those kind of jobs. So today I'm going to go through a brilliant rainy day job, and that is to get all of your seeds organised. Because if you're anything like me, before I started organising my seeds, this is what you'll have. A box full of seed packets. Some of them unopened, some of them opened and torn so that their seeds can fall out really easily. Nothing's in order. And most importantly, it means that whenever you need a seed, you have to go rummaging to try and find it. And there's no guarantee that you necessarily will. So today I'm going to show you exactly how I store my seeds. But before I do, I want to give you my opinion on the commercially available seed storage options and why I don't actually really particularly like them. Have a look at any website or gardening catalogue for that matter, and you're bound to come across at least one seed storage solution, whether it's a simple box, a tin, or even some kind of seed organiser. But I have to be honest, I'm not really a fan of any of them for several reasons. But the main reason is cost. Like any other hobby that's got a really large, passionate following of people, retailers know that and they increase their prices accordingly. So as soon as you get a very simple box that shouldn't be that expensive, if it's got something nice written on the side of it, or a nice little picture, maybe a picture of some flowers or veggies, and a nice saying like Gardener's Seed Collection, you know that you're going to be paying more than you really should. Then moving on from that is the fact that I actually don't find the solutions really that adaptable or customizable. If you get a nice box, yeah, it's a lovely box and it might be pretty on the outside, but as soon as you open it, you know that it's going to look just the same as this, disorganized and messy. And then when it comes to the seed organisers, I often find them not adaptable enough, just that little bit too constrained. Maybe the boxes are too small, because I do find that I'll have very few of some seed types and loads of others. So when you take into account the lack of adaptability and the price, I really think the way to go is to come up with your own solution. And that's exactly what I've done. I've come up with a solution that can use really easily available and cheap things to make the perfect system that you can make just the way you like it. Okay, the bit that you've been waiting for. If you want to store and organise your seeds exactly the same way that I do, listen up, because here's how I do it. In this box, I have a whole load of individual metal tins. Now, these metal tins are really easy and cheap to buy. You can go online and look for metal storage tins or even candle tins, or you can get them from a very well-known blue and yellow Scandinavian interiors retailer. Say no more. What I've opted for are 3 different sizes: little small ones, medium ones, and large ones. And that allows me to be adaptable in the way that I store my seeds, because the important thing is I want to know that I can easily get to the seeds that I want. And that means that the way I think doesn't necessarily follow a simple A to Z system, or a when to sow system, or a plant family system. So if you look, you'll see I've got some tins that are very specific. Onions, brassicas, something like that. But at the same time, I'll also have things like leafy greens or salads. And by doing it this way, and particularly if you use the larger tins for larger groups of things, you'll know that all you need to do is grab one tin if you want to do a whole load of successional sowing of salads, for instance. Now, the other thing is, you may notice that these have little labels on top. You can very easily just write with a permanent marker on top of these. But if you really want to level up your seed storage experience, you need to get yourself one of these, a label printer. Now, this comes with the biggest of health warnings. I have become kind of obsessive about using this thing. It is just so satisfying. I have labeled so much stuff. I have labeled all of my tins. I have labeled books. I have even labeled a little jar of plant labels. I know, obsessive, right? But once you start organizing your seeds and you start enjoying having everything neatly tidied away, you are going to get obsessed too. So I use this to make my nice labels that I can put on top of all of my tins. Then finally, all of the tins go into a box. Now, you need a box that's going to be easy to carry, that's going to store nicely, and that's going to be really robust so that it's going to stand up to outdoor wear when you're using it in the garden. Something like this is great. This is actually an old wine box that I got free from a shop. It is just fantastic. And actually, I think it looks quite nice. So in here, as well as all of my tins, I also have my bits of bamboo with cord, my plant labels and pencil, and my plant guides. And then that way I know that as long as I grab this box, I'm going to have everything I need to sow my seeds, whether I'm sowing them outdoors direct or into modules under cover. And this whole system just works really nicely. Now, I know what you may be asking, where do you put the large seed packets that you get? Well, that's where I do things a little bit differently. I don't keep them. So, if you buy seeds from a lot of seed supply companies, they will actually come in these little airtight containers. I tend to take these sachets out, potentially write on them if they need to have their name written on them, and then store them like this. But the big thing is, the seed company that I use in Ireland actually sends your seeds in these lovely little Ziploc bags that have a nice little picture, and they store beautifully in these tins. And then alongside those seed packets, they actually send an individual leaflet with everything that you need to know about that seed. I take it off that seed packet, the seed packet goes in the tin, and I have a little folder with all of that information. Again, that lives in this box, and I know that I've got everything I need. Yes, it's a bit of an obsessive system, but I love it. So for me, I really have found that this is pretty much the perfect way to store and organize all of my seeds. If you go for something like this, I'm fairly sure that you're going to find exactly the same. It's nice and affordable, but most importantly, it allows you to organize your seeds in the way that your mind works. And that means that when it comes to seed sowing time, you know that whatever you need to get, you're going to find it really quickly and easily. And that makes the whole seed sowing process so much easier. But more than all of that, and for me, this is really important, organizing things like this actually brings me a lot of joy. I love how this looks, I love how it feels, and I love using it. So much so that this doesn't just get shoved into some kind of cupboard. This actually sits out in my office where I can admire it. That might sound crazy, but having something that looks nice, that feels nice, that works really well when it comes to organization, just adds that extra joy to a job in the garden. And it's that joy that for me drives me on to go, you know what? I will sow seeds today. I'm going to get on with it. And it means that's another job done. And that helps contribute towards the success, particularly at the moment, of my veg garden. Hopefully you've found this useful, and hopefully it's given you a little bit of inspiration that if you don't already have your own seed system that you particularly love, that maybe you can come up with your own. So as ever, let me know, because I love hearing from you. How do you store your seeds? Do you do it differently to myself? Do you have a way that you think is even better? I bet you do. Let me know. As ever, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up by clicking the thumbs up down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're not already, and also hit the bell icon, because that way you'll be notified when I post my next video. And Until next time, see you later.